Before we get into today's episode, just a quick note, this conversation includes discussion around mental health and suicide. And if these topics are difficult for you, we would recommend listening with care or even skipping this one if you want to. And look, if you or anyone you know needs support, there's a lot of options out there. Reach out to a professional or support service in your area. We discussed that in today's episode. And look, there's some highs and lows. It is a great episode. So we really hope you enjoy this one. Welcome back to Dirt and All. It's episode 25, and today I'm here in the studio with Ben Hannant. How are you, Ben?
I'm going great. Life's good. Sun's shining. Obviously, footy season's back upon us. Good times ahead.
It is a sensational time of the year. I do love it. And we're here with Luke Castricum. How are you, Luke?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking.
That's the way. Luke is an industry stalwart. Many of our audience would know Luke from being around the traps.
You call him a wart? Is that what you said?
Stalwart, I believe.
There's certain warts we want to stay clear of. And Luke, we love you, mate. You can stay with us. You're the ones we can't get rid of.
I'm just creeping around in the corners of the industry, mate. That's what
So today's going to be an interesting episode because Ben is actually a professional at this, because you may know him from his NRL
use that
career.
Word very lightly, okay?
Well, he gets paid to do this more than I do. So he's got Ben's. Many of you may know from his ex-NRL career, which we're going to dive into. Obviously, your time on Triple M as well, which makes me feel really nervous about how this is going to go because you're judging. And
you're in
also,
the driver's seat now. It's all about you. All right.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. And then also Hannant Plant Hire, dry hire business, and that's how you are in this heavy sector in that world that we operate in.
Yeah, exciting times for me. Obviously, I've had 3 massive career changes in my lifetime so far, but learning the things from rugby league, then transitioning into radio is now set me up for this whole new challenge in life that I'm loving. Honestly, I've always wanted to own my own business, but I didn't know what or how. But just life experiences gave me that confidence to give something a go. And to be honest, I wish I never played football. I never did radio. I did this full time because I'm having a lot of fun at the moment.
Yeah, right. Well, look, let's dive into Hannant Hire first, and then we're going to get into all the other fun stuff. What is it? Give us an outline of your business model. How did you begin? How'd you get into this world?
Well, it came down to I always wanted to own my own business, but I had no idea. I was no good at school. I had no idea what I should do, how to run a business, but I knew that was a chapter of my life I eventually wanted to get to. And for a couple of years, once I retired, I was an ambassador for Coates Hire, and I went to a lot of events, the Origin. I met a lot of people down there. I thought, there's a lot of things here that I could do in that space. And you could see, obviously, the returns that we're getting, the opportunities, you buy a bit of equipment. But how could I manage that risk while still doing radio and getting that right balance? So I started off mainly just doing dry hire and building relationships. So in rugby league and in the radio, it's all about building relationships. So making sure, like in my rugby league career, is do what I say. People know who I am and what I stand for. And if I say something, I'm going to do it. So building those relationships, getting opportunities to get plant out on their sites, but then obviously making sure the plant does the job exactly what they want, that there's no hiccups and the job gets done properly. And to me, that was exciting, and that's how I got started. And 1 grew to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to a dozen to where we are now.
What was your first bit of gear? How did you decide what to go into? What were the opportunities that were presented at that point?
The first one was a water truck. Yep. And very simple, dry hire. It was a housing development estate that was going on out at Ipswich, and that truck was out there for 18 months. So a great opportunity where I bought this truck, and within 18 months, it was pretty close to be paid off. And now, that's the great thing, is that one thing then opens another opportunity for a digger, to a tipper, to a telehandler, to a posi track, and just building those relationships and finding out what people need. Everyone has needs. Now, can you service those needs better than someone else? And that's the thing I love most, because it's not bad. A good day at the office is playing golf with some of these big companies where you got 4 hours with them, finding out what they need and making a plan in that 4 hours, how to execute it better than anyone else can. So it's making sure that that relationship is a position where both people know that they're winning.
It's a competitive market.
It is an incredibly competitive market, especially in that dry hire space. Also, a lot of risk that comes attached to running a business like that too, right? So people take your gear and they don't treat it like it's their own. They treat it like it's the hire car that they've just picked up from the airport and they're belting down to Mackay in, right? So
We've all done
absolute
that.
flop.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I think it's a really ballsy move to go from seeing, you know, probably how it's done at the highest level through a Coates or a Kennards, and then going, you know what, I'm going to have a crack at that. It is a crack at it. Is that sort of something that you always had an appetite for risk there, Ben?
I love risk. I do. But one thing is I wanted to make sure I manage that risk and minimize that risk. And the way I did that is, to start with, I wouldn't do anything unless I had at least an 18-month contract.
Yeah, wow.
So I'd get the contract I wouldn't buy any equipment until I got the contract. When people ask me, do you have such and such? Yep, of course I do. No, I didn't. But guess what? In 3 weeks, I'll have it bought brand new and it'll be ready to go to work. Yep. But if they had long-term contract, that's when you're starting out, obviously cash flow is a big thing. Making sure, too, I do my homework. A lot of people don't know this, but in our industry, sometimes they don't play till 3 months after you do the work. Can take up to 3 months to get paid. Whereas I'd make sure I do my homework with these companies and find out, hang on, they pay 30 days in the month, which is fantastic. Or it could be as soon as you invoice, it's within 2 weeks in your account. So making sure you're pairing up with good people that you know that do pay their bills, because there's a lot of people in this industry that will do everything they can not to. But building those relationships where you know that it's a two-way street. You're providing a service that they're very happy with, but also at the same time, they feel like they're getting bang for their buck and they're happy to pay you.
Sorry, you go.
Did you work it all out for yourself? Like, you coming out of NRL, did you have like a career pathway through that to understand the challenges of cash flow and the risk that come?
No
with,
idea.
You just
Mate,
worked it out on the fly. Yeah.
I'm still learning my ABCs, my 1, 2, 3s, but it's just finding good people and finding mentors. I think a big thing in life, everyone thinks you own a business, you're the big boss. My number one thing with what I do, not just with my business, but in life in general, is find good people that I look up to. I copy, I follow. Like, school was the worst thing ever for me because they made me sit in a room by myself, don't look at anyone else, work out this problem, solve it all by yourself. And 9 times out of 10, I got it wrong.
And then never use it again in your life.
Exactly right. But what I learned through business and football and then through the radio is, number one thing, when I first started my football career and I was 8 games in the NRL, I went back to Brisbane Broncos in 2006. Now, I went from there's a story behind this. We'll get there later on, but I was on next to no money. I wasn't guaranteed a spot. You look at the forward pack we had back in 2006. You had Shane Webke, Petro Simnasiva. You had Brad Thorne. You had Tony Carroll. You had Corey Parker, Sam Thaiday, Dane Carlaw, Greg Eastwood, Neville Costigan, and myself, a 21-year-old kid. I wasn't guaranteed anything.
Yep.
But what I did the first day of preseason is I paired myself with Shane Webke. Everything he did, I didn't even know him. No idea. Like, I just knew he's the greatest player. He probably hated me. Like, what's this little young prick doing with me all the time? But everything we did, when we did fitness, I'd stand next to him and I'd push myself to try and keep up with him. He flogged me at the start. Same with wrestling, same with weights, everything. But by the end of preseason, I started beating him in a couple of things. And I was competing a lot, which got Wayne's attention. And that year in 2006, I played it was nearly 30 games that year. Every game, every semi, a grand final, we won a premiership. All from the back, from pairing myself with the best, learning from the best, competing with the best, which brought out the best with me. And it's that old saying, who you surround yourself with, you end up becoming.
Yeah.
And that's something for me I worked out at a very young age. Instead of hiding back, oh, these guys are too good for me. It's like, I need to be at that level. So you know what? I'm going to pair myself. You're going to be a mentor to me. Even if you like it or not, you're going to have to because we're competing.
Yep.
And we brought out the best in each other.
Interesting, you found your way into the heavy industrial sector, like through doing plant hire. I know Shane's found himself through there.
Shane's got his finger in every pie. We all know, mate. There's nothing Shane doesn't do, Big Webby. Good on him.
Webby actually still owes me $20 from the 20.
You won't get it back.
No, he didn't. I shared a cab with him and he ran away from me. So I was like, mate, you said you would pay half. And he's like, oh, I'll come around later. And I never saw that man again. But
so what we learned from this, Shane Webke's the tight ass.
He's a tight ass. But I know he does a lot with the. He did a lot during the expansion of the gas fields out in Western Queensland and found his way into that sector quite well too. But and so did Darren Lockyer. But I don't think anyone's quite done it the way that you've done it. Where you've come through footy, you've had to then transition that life from football and into industry, and you've chosen this one. How did it get there?
Well, I look at the big picture always. And where do I see, where's the money in our country? resources
Yep.
in the ground. So the biggest industry, and what's the number one thing in Queensland? Same, the mining, the coal. So if I want to be successful in business, say there's 100 businesses in every business, which one's going to return the most? Which one's where's the money at? So I knew I needed to be in that industry. I knew nothing about the industry, but I met a couple of people down at the grand final, 2023 actually, when the Broncos were playing and they lost the grand final. I don't want to bring it up. Sorry, Broncos fans, where we flippin' choked and we gave that one back to Penrith. But I met two people down there and I actually said to them, I just started my own civil and mining company. I hadn't started it yet. But I was just, by the end of the night, I spoke to them and got advice from them. I thought, these two guys are going to make a huge difference in my life. I asked them, do you mind if I get your number and would you be okay with being a mentor for me where I can call you up and get your advice and if any opportunities come? And they were a massive Broncos fan. They said, mate, love to. One of them is now one of my best mates who we're starting another business with, and he's been my mentor in this space, sorry. And the other one, I have about $3 million out working with him full-time for the last 2 years, and it continues to go. So building those relationships, I had no idea what I was doing, but getting those mentors to be able to help me understand the business and how to run the business properly and getting the right people in my team to help me get to where I am now, it's been a massive, massive part of why I'm being successful.
You mentioned, where are we and where's the money in Australia? And I actually saw the quote this week.
It's in Luke's pocket. Luke is,
You're not getting it here.
I saw the quote and it was like the number one rule of fishing is to fish where the fish are. And I think like now more than ever, particularly in this current market and where things are at politically and economically at the moment, obviously positioned very well in the dry hire space because infrastructure is going ahead. Everything's still going ahead up here. But it's again, really competitive. It's obviously gets pretty ruthless on that front in your world too.
It's very competitive. But the thing is, I have to go at things with a different approach. I have something that other people don't, is people know who I am through football. Yep. They know that when I do something, I give it 100%. And when I say something, I do it. I don't go through the front door. I go through the back door. Mm-hmm. Essentially, sometimes I can't compete with people with their prices, but what I can beat them with is guaranteed that my equipment's going to work better than anyone else. I'll give you the top gear. If anything goes wrong, it's going to get fixed quicker with me through my relationships. So, and if you need anything, you can call me direct straight away. I don't want a relationship with someone to bend them over and take as much money off them in 6 months, 12 months. I want a relationship with someone that lasts 10, 20, 30 years and open book things where they're making plenty of money. They can see I'm making money, but everything you can see, it's all justified. And those relationships, that's the key, making sure that I like to open book things because then they understand where I'm at, where I'm looking after them, but also I have to be able to still support this business, make it work as well.
You haven't really. I just want to touch on back with Hannant Hire. You talk about the types of machinery that you run, and coming into the industry relatively green back when you did to where it is now. I mean, I see Hannant Hire machines out in the field, and they're very well presented. You see a lot of cat gear. You're running a lot of late model fleet there.
She's not a cat, she's a dog, they reckon. This is what they do. Hey, don't shoot the messenger, all right? I just give people what they want.
I think by choosing the assets you've chosen ones that give you great longevity, they give you great return on investment, great service, and all these sorts of things. Usually, what you see with a business that's coming in, a lot of the fly-by-nighters will come in and underinvest. They'll come in with a used machine, doesn't look real good, slap some new tracks on it, lipstick on a pig, send it out to work. And they don't usually last very long as a player in the industry, or they learn the lesson. The poor man pays twice, right? So you've bought premium equipment and you're running it out there in the field, and you're attracting the right kind of client by the sounds of it. You're chasing these unicorn hires, which are 2 years at a time, which for the rest of us, that's the work we want. But it's hard to find.
It gets close to paying that whole piece of machinery off, and it minimises the risks. It helps with cash flow, all those things. But at the end of the day, that whole side of thing comes back to just building those relationships right. And when it's a very competitive market what we're in. But the great thing is if the drivers love being in your machinery, it does what it's supposed to do. The aircon's working well, the radio's great in it, it's comfortable. Well, guess what? That's the last bit of machinery that will be unhired, will go off hire. So if they love that machine and it ticks all the boxes, then that will be the last one to go off. And there's been many occasions so far with a lot of my machinery where it's got that extra 6 months or extra 12 months there because they're like, no, we love it and we want it to stay there. So, yeah, you might outlay a bit more to start with, but it pays off in the long run because people want to be in it. They're not going to get rid of it.
Yep.
I think geographically, a lot of your work's pretty spread too. I've seen your gear way out west, and 4 hours from the nearest town, and all the rest. So
it's been in Moranbah, stuff's in Dubbo. We're looking at stuff over in Western Australia as well, and it's just seeing opportunities where I like to get the contracts first. With a lot of new, obviously, we're trying to grow and expand. So getting those contracts and then getting that piece of machinery exactly what they want and what they need, and chasing those long-term contracts. I know it's like you're saying it's the unicorn side of things, but what's wrong with chasing unicorns,
That's exactly right.
Bit of fun.
That's exactly right.
Benny, I know you're a big fan of the show and you listen to every episode and even some of them twice.
Episode 17 was my favourite.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
In recent
It
times,
was a bit ordinary there.
Sorry, mate.
in recent times, so like we've recently acquired the show. It's been running for a while, but it's recently come up here to home in the Gold Coast. And the way we make this happen is because we've just got some really good partners that have come on board and help us bring this thing together. This is about the time now I give Capital Equipment Sales a plug. So Will McCartney, in fact, we're going to go through 3 different sponsors this episode. And the beauty of them all is they were all fans of the show. The reason they got in touch with us is because they liked the show and they wanted to get behind it and make sure it kept going forward.
They still like it after I've just been on.
Well, mate, you hear about like sponsors in the NRL and they have to sit down and have a word with the teams and see how this goes for the brand. We might have to do the same with you after this. But Capital Equipment Sales, they're based west of Brisbane, and quality used equipment. I was up there the other day. I watched a D7H roll out the door just after it had done a dual push with a D6D straight out of Antarctica. Really cool. Guys are up there. You might have seen it on socials.
I did. It was. I've played that about 6 times.
Yeah. It's unique. You don't see a D6 from Antarctica up in Brisbane very often.
Bit of kit, mate.
So we just shot a little behind-the-scenes video, which by the time this episode comes out, that will be out. But look, we just wanted to say thanks to Will and his wife, Brooke, and the whole team up there. Sam, it was great to meet you, mate. Look, jump onto capitalequipmentsales.com if you'd like to check out what Will's got. Pop in, say good day. He's got big plans for the testing ground, a little bar maybe getting set up on the side of the dam. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but bit of clay pigeon shooting.
Ooh.
It's a unique setup, man. Really cool setup.
It's an experience.
So, mate, look, that's my first plug for the show. So, look, maybe worth getting you in touch with Will someday.
100%. Cool. The plugs you want, not the ones I've got at the front of my hair here. But
do you really?
No, I had with the grass taken from the backyard and planted in the front yard.
Mate,
Yeah.
actually,
Not plugs, it's your own hair.
Turkey?
But speaking of plugs, no, I did it here on the Gold Coast.
Yep.
Actually, Paul Fisher, the DJ, got it done from my guy. After I did, I've got about 100 of my mates got it done since.
The Fisher's hair is to see a guy go from
luscious.
completely bald to like full lush hair. It's the best I've ever seen.
Benny, I woke up this morning and I had to go get a quick haircut because I knew I'd be on radio. So that's what
You've still got plenty of hair. You're not going through
Mate,
enough stress.
I actually this morning looked in the mirror and I've gone, I am flat out balding. I have a problem here. Oh, mate, I'll show you.
Really?
It's actually,
Oh, you got the Devon
shit.
patch at
mate,
the back.
they're going to
Some
call me
tomato
Fry.
sauce, a bit of white bread.
I'm going to be Fry Tuck before too long, right? So what I'm thinking to myself, is there hope for blokes like me out there? So you're talking about plugs. I'm thinking, I just want to book a trip to Turkey and get this over and done
No,
with.
you get that. It's honestly best thing I ever did.
I was just thinking of shaving it though, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you got
Or a
plenty. At the front, you're all good.
You can be a hat 24/7 guy, just not a fedora guy. Don't do fedora.
Damn,
Or
I
you
love
could,
the
you
fedora.
could become Jewish and have one of those little yarmulkes,
Yeah,
whatever
yarmulke.
they call it.
Yeah, well, they're in
Yeah.
fashion.
Shalom.
Yep.
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.
Sorry, back to topic.
So look, I find it really interesting because when you come out of NRL, every NRL player knows that it's not going to be forever, and there's the media opportunities. But then what comes next?
But
in
when you're
terms of
playing rugby league, you don't think
that.
You
Yeah.
honestly,
Not
everyone
what I
said you
know,
need a
but-
plan B. Or
Yeah.
I didn't have a plan B.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I grew up here on the Gold Coast. I'm one of 11 kids in my family. We were dirt poor. We lost everything when I was 8 years of age. We lived in tents in our neighbour's backyard. Then we moved to Nerang, which used to be, now it's expensive now, but that used to be the ghetto back in the day. I remember one of my neighbours just got out of prison for bank robbery, and one was about to go in for something else. And in a 2-bedroom duplex, there's 10 of us kids, mum and dad. So in the boys' room, 6 bunks, 6 beds. So me and my little brother were 3 bunks high. You have to squeeze between the roof and our bunks. No aircon, no nothing. 4 sisters in the other, and mum and dad slept in the laundry. That was our upbringing. I had nothing. And we borrowed someone's ute. All of us kids back in the day, obviously police were a lot better back then, where we'd sit in the back of the ute, lie in the back of the ute with a tarp over the back. And one person was lucky enough to put the tarp down, then sit in the front with mum and dad. That's how we got around. Like that was my upbringing. I realized I don't like this. I don't want this for me. And the only way for me to get out of this is working hard and learning those life skills. And for me, that was rugby league. And rugby league was that vessel to change my life forever. But it doesn't just happen because you wish it. You have to put your efforts to work and make it happen. And that's something I did at a young age.
Just talk a bit more about that. And coming from that childhood and then getting a ticket out of that lifestyle, it was.
But honestly, I love you bringing up a ticket because no one gets tickets. You get an opportunity. There's a door, and you decided you're going to walk through it or not. That door's scary. It's black on the other side. You don't know what's hiding behind the door. Is it going to hurt you behind the door?
Where was the door open for you, or where did you go and open that door?
That door was open when I was 16 years of age. Now, I never made a rep team in my life at this stage. I got invited, though, to a Broncos elite squad where the best 30, 40 kids in Queensland got invited to a camp at one of the colleges up in Brisbane, and Wayne Bennett was running this camp. And I was so stoked. I thought I made it because I'm a poor kid. Like, my first pair of brand new footy boots was when I was signed by the Brisbane Broncos. But I rocked up to this Broncos elite squad, and I remember getting my training gear, and I think we got a tracksuit as well. I remember sitting there in the auditorium. All of us boys are sitting there waiting for Wayne Bennett to come in the room. I'm sitting down looking at my chest over my heart. I can see the Broncos logo. I'm like, how good's this? I've made it. This is unreal. I'm going to be a Bronco. And then I'm just waiting for Wayne Bennett to walk in the room. And Wayne Bennett walks down the stairs and comes to the front of the room. And Wayne Bennett's very intimidating. 6'4", 6'5", big, tall, gangly Mr. Burns looking thing. And the way he talks, he doesn't smile. But the first thing I'm thinking, what's he going to say to us when he comes up on stage? What's the first thing he's going to say to us? And I was shocked. The first thing he said to us was, boys, don't get comfortable. Out of this whole group, the stats tell us only one of yous will make it. Who's that going to be? I remember looking around the room. There's Sammy Thaiday there, Neville Costigan. There's other guys down there played for Queensland and Australia. I just remember going, holy crap, it's not me. So I've had this great moment where I see the Broncos jersey. I can envision myself playing for them. But then reality kicked in and I'm not good enough. I'm thinking, how is this going to come about for me? And then I thought, you know what, though? I've got an opportunity. I'm going to make the most of this opportunity. So they're doing all the testing that they're doing for us, the fitness, skills, agility, weights. And they're writing down all the scores, how much you can bench, how much you can squat, what's your 40-metre sprint, what's your Bronco time, all these different things. And realistically, I was between that 20 to 35. I was down the bottom end. And I'm just thinking, as each day went on in this camp, I'm thinking, my dream's over. I'm not good enough. How do I go home and tell my mum and dad and my friends and my brothers and sisters I'm not good enough? And I felt very down in the dumps. I'm thinking, I should just go home. I should just quit. This isn't for me. But the last night before we left this camp, I'm so glad I didn't quit because Wayne Bennett said something to the group. But I felt like he was talking to me, which changed my life forever. It changed me as a football player. It changed me as a husband, a father, a radio announcer, and now a business owner as well. He said a lot of things to us that night, but one thing stands out to me. He said to the group, he said, boys, there's no one better than you, but you're no better than anyone else. And he goes, I'll repeat that. And you know when someone repeats it, it's important. There's no one better than you, but you're no better than anyone else. I remember thinking to myself, what the hell is this long neck bloke? What does that mean? I don't get it, but it just wouldn't leave my brain.
It's so hard not to laugh in the middle of this story. You've called him Mr. Burns.
Yeah, well,
this long neck
wait
bloke.
till you see him naked. It is Mr. Burns, I'm telling you.
Well, you haven't seen the coach naked. That's not
many
a
a
normal
times.
thing.
As a young boy, it's the last thing you want to see is Mr. But love you, Wayne. But geez, as much good, there were some bad moments too. But anyway, I went back to my dorm that night. I couldn't sleep. And I kept thinking about that. There's no one better than you, but you're no better than anyone else. I just kept thinking about it. And I had that light bulb moment where I understood what he meant. And what it meant for me is that everyone has greatness in them. What are you willing to do to unlock that greatness? It doesn't matter if it's rugby league, if you might be a nurse, if it's your father, being a mother, whatever it is, we are all got greatness. If you're religious, we're all made in God's image. So that means we're not just nobodies, we're all somebodies. And we all got greatness, but you might be fitter than me. But if I do 2 extra fitness runs a week, not long I'll get fitter than you. You might be stronger than me. But if I do, the extra 2 or 3 weight sessions a week, I'll get as strong as you. But it also taught me that I'm no better than anyone else as well. So if I do ever make it to the top, which I did, is I don't think I'm better than anyone else. I look at people not what they are, but what they can become, and helping them reach their potential, which helps me reach my potential. So I left that camp and I realized I have no excuse. If I don't make rugby league, it is no one's fault bar me. If I'm willing, life isn't fair. One of the biggest things in business and in life too is life isn't fair. We've all run businesses. We've all done things in life where we've been mistreated. Someone's taken advantage of us. Life isn't fair. It's not supposed to be. It's not supposed to be. But it comes down to what you're willing to do in that moment. Are you going to quit, or are you just going to work harder and find a way, problem solve to get it done? So that day when I left the camp, I made a commitment to myself. I'm going to start doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups every single night. I was going to do an extra 2 5K runs a week by myself to work on my fitness. Something very simple, basic. Small things turn to big things. You do little things right, turn to bigger results. You start making excuses, blaming others. That turns to big mistakes and failures. So I started doing that. My body started to change within 6 months. I've never made a rep team at this state, but my body's starting to change. I'm getting stronger. I've got more confidence because I'm fitter on the field. I'm doing all these little things. And in under 17s, I made the Queensland under 17s, my first rep team, playing before State of Origin in Sydney in front of 85,000 people. And to me, that was just, oh my goodness, I don't deserve this. But I got there from believing that I can be the best. And I was the best at that stage. I was one of the best in my team from doing all that hard work that I did. The following year, instead of being in schoolies in surface, I was in England and France for 8 weeks playing for the Australian schoolboys. The following year, I'm signed up by the Brisbane Broncos. 2 years later, I'm playing in the NRL. Another 2 years, 1 year after that, I'm winning a premiership. Year after, I'm playing Origin. I'm playing Australian. I get Dally M Prop of the Year. All those things come back to what Wayne Bennett said to me at the age of 16, which still applies to me now in my business. When I was doing radio with the earth moving, is there is no one better than you, but you're no better. You have opportunities to be as big or as great as you want to be. It comes down to, are you willing to do the work and not blame others? And that's something that's changed my life forever. So I'll always be grateful for Wayne Bennett for it.
It's an incredible thing that you just laid out there, and I think it relates, Ryan, to a conversation you and I had last week, which was about heavy's the crown, right? Particularly in leadership and in business, right? So you're talking about the culmination of a lot of efforts that have little 1%ers that have led to where you are today, and it's an incredible journey. It's an incredible story, and we often talk. Ryan talks with a lot of other people on the show, and there's a bit of a common theme, right? And the common theme is all about effort, and it's about driving, and it's about making sure that you can separate yourself from somebody else to have a business and a viable opportunity for other people to either come and work for you or to provide for your own family. But we talk about heavy's the crown, right? So what that is to us is it's about in leadership roles, whether you're the CEO of a business, whether you're the managing director, whether you're the CFO, or whether you're an operator on the ground, right? Doesn't matter where you are. We talk about the weight of leadership, right, and what it does to a person, because it's a lonely environment for a lot of directors, right? So for a lot of directors, a lot of GMs and CEOs, people in leadership positions, and also in footy, right? So you're only as good as the effort you're prepared to put in on the day. And not everybody can put in 100% all day, every day. Sometimes what you've got to give is enough. But we talk about the impact of leadership and how that affects us in our personal lives, right? So we go home some nights and it's if you're the director of a business, you've got to keep the lights on. I know Phil, the director at Leader, he goes home at night and thinks of ways that how am I going to improve my revenue? How am I going to make sure cash flow is positive? How am I going to have this hard conversation with a client? And how am I going to keep everybody employed? Right?
It's like you're a footy coach. And how can I get the best out of my employees? How can I maximise what I've got?
Well, you're also trying to get the best out of yourself, right? So it's a
So like, I guess to sort of add a bit more context to that, I've sort of, in my business, I deal with basically general managers, managing directors, CEOs, and I've sort of reached this age, and a lot of the clients that I have are around the similar age as me. And I think like maybe it's a sign of the times that all of a sudden these blokes you've only sort of spoken to about business for so long, you start to have like more personal conversations. You realize like we're all in this similar boat. Like who does Mr. Burns, Wayne Bennett talk to? Like when you're at the top, it's lonely at the top sometimes.
That's exactly right. He has a coach for him as well.
Yeah.
Phil Joyncey, I think his name is. He was doing the Australian cricket team as well. In 2006, we won the premiership. He was helping us out because in rugby league, you cannot have a bad day at rugby league. Full stop.
Yeah.
You're fighting to win a comp at the end of the year. Every week you're fighting to win a game every week. But every single day of the week, there's only 17 spots out of the 35 guys in the squad that get to play every week. So you can't have a bad day at work because there's another bloke that wants to jump in your shoes. I've never had a sick day in my life. I've never had a day off rugby league. I've never, ever had a day off the radio. And to my business now, I just don't have days off because I don't want anyone to take what I'm working hard to get at.
Is it a heavy weight to carry?
It's a beautiful weight to carry. I think pressure's a beautiful thing. Where do you think your growth comes from? A lot of people, we're all worried about, but if you want to continue to grow, you have to learn to be comfortable being uncomfortable. Rugby league was a perfect example. If I was uncomfortable, I'm getting better. If I'm in a situation where I'm uncomfortable and I'm fail sometimes, guess what? I'm learning to master a craft. You can be a victim. You can blame others. You can think this isn't fair. Like I said earlier, life isn't fair. And one thing in rugby league that I learned from Wayne Bennett, and I learned from a lot of senior players I played with at Brisbane and with Queensland and Australia, is what makes them so great and what makes those players so good. What is the difference between what makes someone the greatest is the difference between their best and worst game is minute, very little. So a Billy Slater, Cameron Smith, from his best and worst games like that, an average NRL player might be this. Someone that plays in the backyard might play like Billy Slater one day, then play like goodness knows what the next. But that's the difference is. So just like rugby league, we're real people like everyone else. And same with business. We're going to have days where we're fighting with our missus. We're going to have days where we're not feeling well, where we're feeling flat. We're going to have days where we feel like we're being mistreated. Whatever it may be, we might not have a good night's sleep, whatever. But we had certain flags that when we crossed the line at training, no matter what was going, we dropped whatever it was. And when we're at work, we are working. We are perfecting our craft and we get the job done. And that was something I learned in 2006. And the difference between my best and worst games was very little as well. That's why I played for Queensland. That's why I played for Australia. That's why I got a Dally M medal and I've won 2 premierships. And being in the team for 12 years straight in the NRL is because I guarantee you when I crossed that line, I had moments where I had some pretty dark days. Look, one of my darkest days in rugby league was my last game in 2008 when I got told there's no money at the Brisbane Broncos. I signed to go down to the Bulldogs that morning to play the major semi-final against Melbourne. Major semi to make the grand final. And we hadn't beaten Melbourne that year. We're winning this game at the stage. But let's go back to the beginning of that day. I only got one grandparent I've ever had a relationship with I knew in my life, my grandfather, my pa. He passed away that morning. So major time, biggest game of my life. Could possibly be my last game for the Brisbane Broncos. My pa dies that morning. My wife's pregnant too. And I said, look, let's just get outside. Let's go to the beach. Let's get good energy. Get out, go for a walk, go for a swim. And then we'll make our way up to the football that night and get ready to play. As we go for a walk along the beach, my wife goes to the toilet. She comes out bawling her eyes out. And she goes, I'm bleeding. Like there's something wrong with the baby. So I rushed to the hospital. This is the biggest game of my life. To make a grand final, my pa died that morning. I'm in hospital. I call Wayne Bennett up and say, Wayne, I'm so sorry, but I can't leave my wife. I don't think I can play tonight. I've got to look after my wife. My family's the most important thing. And he's like, I totally get it. You just do what you need to do for your family. I'm sitting in the hospital for hours waiting to find out, is my baby okay? An hour later, I find out we lose our baby. And there's nothing we can do. So I've lost my pa, lost the baby. And then in the game, I decided the doctors came and saw us and said to us, realistically, there's nothing we can do. You've lost the baby. It's time. Like, there's nothing you can do. We can, we'll see if the baby comes out naturally by itself or, we'll have to do surgery. But realistically, there's nothing you can do now. You might as well go home. Or Ben, they knew who I was. If you're up for it, it might be worth distracting yourself and go play football. So I ring Wayne Bennett up. This is hours before the game. I'm living on the Gold Coast. I've got to drive 2 hours to get to the game in peak hour traffic, major semi-final. I call Wayne up and say, Wayne, I can play. He's like, great. Drive on up here, do what you got to do. I go up there for the game. We're winning the game. I have a moment in the game where we're up by 4 points. I get a cutout ball from the dummy half. I'm diving over for a try. Billy Slater dives with his feet and holds the ball up. I have a chance to win the game to go to the grand final. I get held up, which is illegal. You can't dive with your legs. And after that was when they changed the rule. No, nothing against Billy. Love you, Bill, but geez, that was a good play by you, mate. You stopped.
Right back.
And then we're still up by 4 points. And then all we had to do was hold the ball that last set. But unfortunately, Ashton Sims took a hit up and he dropped the ball. They picked it up, pass. Greg Inglis scored. And we lose it. My last game for Brisbane, don't make the grand final. My pa died. I lose my baby. I think it's the last game I'll ever play for the Brisbane Broncos. Miss the grand final. I just think the world's against me. This is the lows of the lows. That's what happens in life. But it's what you do in those moments. What bad things are going to happen to us. Life isn't fair. But what are you going to do next in life? You can live in that or hang on to it, or what can I do next to move forward? I went down to the Bulldogs. They were the Wooden Spooners. Sonny Bill just walked out on them. They didn't have a sponsorship. We took that club from 12 months being Wooden Spooners to equal minor premiers and selling every spot on that jersey in sponsorship. All from that risk of going to the new club. Bad things happened the year before, but great things will follow if you just keep picking yourself up and trying again.
Man, you really steamrolled through the positives that come out of the back of that, but that's fucking horrible. Like that day, man.
I guarantee you, every single everyone that's listening on this podcast have been through not the same things. Everyone goes through hardship. There's things in your life you've gone through that I couldn't handle. There's things in your life I wouldn't be able to handle.
What did you say to me last night? What did you say to me last night? About all of our problems, if we put them all.
Oh, I said a guy told me who I looked at as like quite successful in life, and I was telling him about some of the problems and I had, and then he told me about some of the problems they had, and public relations issues with the company and this and that. And he said, mate, if we all stood in a circle and put our problems all in the middle in a pile, you'd pretty quickly fucking take yours back.
Yeah.
And that's, it's always stuck with me. The other thing too,
that was really special, mate. I really appreciate you sharing that.
Life's real. And like the way I am, I'll always be real. But everything that happened to me, I look at it as a blessing.
Yeah.
It is. It's gave me an opportunity to learn and what sort of man what are you going to do next in life? When bad things happen, are you going to blame someone? I could have blamed God. You hate me. No.
Yep.
I could make excuses why I should not do this or do that. But in that moment, I have choices after that. Bad things are going to happen. Are you willing to? And the thing with the most successful people I know, I've been lucky enough to build a really good relationship with a guy named Chris Wallen who owns Q-Cole. Lovely bloke worth ridiculous amount of money. Lovely bloke, but I got to sit down with him in Vegas 2 years in a row across the dinner table and talk to him and just ask him questions and just generally find out what makes him tick. And what makes him successful is that he problem solves. Like when something big and massive is going on, he just focuses on one small problem and fixes that. Then he moves to the next small problem. And then before you know it, 5 small problems are gone. Then they move, that's now, big problem is gone. Now we move. And they just keep problem solving one thing after another. They don't look at the big picture because, mate, you go insane. But just doing, and that's one thing I've learned being in this industry, is the guys I've seen that are the most successful is they just never quit and they just start somewhere. You have to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Walking in and taking one hit at a time is sometimes the only way to do it. And it's easy to get overwhelmed by looking at the road ahead, but like you say, it's one step at a time, right?
And a lot of times in life, we all want that big picture. Like I've won 2 premierships, which is amazing. But to be honest with you, that night when I won those premiership in 2006 and 2015, I was lying in bed at probably 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, cuddling my kids. My wife was there with me. I remember thinking, is that it? What's next? Like, I got this cool ring. It's done. Like the journey's finished. It's done. Full stop. You achieved what you wanted. And I genuinely felt, is this it? But then I sat there and thought for the next hour, what success is all about? It's the journey. It's the highs, the lows, the broken bones, the struggle, the fatigue, the losing game, unfair things happen, how we work together, have brought us closer together, and we achieve these great things. My premierships aren't the highlight of my life. It's been the ride. It's been the journey. And money will always come. I always know if I work hard, do the right things, I'll always be okay because I'll never quit. But what brings me peace, what gives me happiness is the journey. And I don't get it right all the time. Trust me. I'm not trying to pretend I'm perfect or anything like that. But the journey's the highs and the lows. If it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it and you wouldn't get that satisfaction. You look at all these rich kids that inherit everything. They got the biggest problems of anyone because they've never had to work hard and find it out themselves and mean something to themselves.
Look, I'm since we started this podcast, like you're going to be the 25th person to come across the desk, and I'm not interviewing Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk, but I tell you one thing that, I can guarantee if I did interview those guys, they're just another bloke just like you. And I think the media and the world we live in put these people on pedestals. And one of my mates say, "Oh, how cool was it? You sat down and got to talk to Borgia Crane's boys." And people are at all different stages of life because of the effort they've put in and the career path they've chosen and their mentality and how they got to where they are. Everyone's just a fucking human, and we're all just trying to do our best. And
we all eat the same. We all crap the same. We're all going to end up in the dirt exactly the same. Like at the end of the day, it's enjoying the journey and finding the right people to partner up with to help elevate you. Like life, if you want happiness, find a way to reach your true potential.
I will say the common theme of every single person I've had the honor of interviewing here is that there's two modes in life. You're either a victim and you're going to let bad things that happen to you keep you down, or you're going to just use that as the fuel to go forward to the next thing. And
the cool thing is you have a choice.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you can choose. Like I've had coaches say some really nasty things to me where people would say that's bullying or harassment. But I looked at what coaches were saying to me as not what they're saying to me, but why are they saying it to me?
Yeah.
And it was to help make me better and to help the team. And I had to give myself an uppercut and look in the mirror and have a big wake-up call for myself. To share a story. I know we all love stories here, but 2006, I'm probably 10, 11 games into my NRL career. I'm 21 years of age, playing over in New Zealand against the Warriors, and they were ginormous, so huge, scary. I was so scared in this game. I'm coming off the bench, 20-minute mark. I come on my first run. I have a big hit up, gave it everything, but I got hit that hard, I knocked the ball on. Later on in that half as well, I had another run, but I looked at the defensive line before I caught the ball. I dropped the ball, so 2 errors. And right before halftime, Stacey Jones throws a dummy, goes through, scores a try. I remember, and this was on the halftime buzzer, I'm thinking, holy crap, I'm about to go on the sheds and Wayne Bennett's going to see me. And I knew I was going to cop it. I remember sitting down on the bench. I had Brad Thorne on one side. I had Petro Sivanasiva on the other side. Two big, 6'4", 6'5". I'm sitting back. I'm just waiting for Wayne to come in like, please don't see me. Please don't see me. He just walks in and locks eyes. And he just came in front of me and just sprayed me, you dumb mother F, and just sprayed the hell out of me and said, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to prove to me why you'll ever wear a Broncos jersey ever again, or you can get your stuff and F off and find your own way back across the ditch. You're not coming back to the hotel. You're not coming back on our flight. This will be the last. You got 5 minutes to prove to me. In that moment, I could have chosen, oh, that's nasty. Oh, you should never talk to someone like that. Imagine that would be doing to his mental health. Or I had a choice. Was I being a soft prick? Was I letting down the team? And what am I willing to do? Do I want to be a victim, or do I want to stand up and reach my true potential and contribute back to this team? Now, he gave me 10 minutes, so I clearly did something right. But after the game, he pulled me aside back at the hotel, not at the game, but he made it very clear to me. He goes, Benny, I need more from you. And you need to, for this team to be successful, for me to pick you in this team, I can't have a performance like that again. Otherwise, you won't be in the team. And that's realistic. That's life. That's what it's all about. And the way I looked at the feedback I got, I'm so grateful for it because it elevated me above. I was scared. I was fatigued. All those things came in. I was making excuses and I wasn't willing to do what it took for success. But getting that kick up the bum made me achieve that.
I consider myself pretty resilient. Compared to other people I know, but I could never do I couldn't have a day like you had that you just
You're smarter than me. I wouldn't do it either.
No, man, you think about when I knocked the ball on that day, I think about when I sent that fucking email and didn't put the punctuation right. We live in different worlds, different parallels. But, we were talking about mental health the other day and I am and my clients will attest to this. I don't like corporate bandwagoning and I don't think you need to put out a social post for Easter and this day and that day and every day. You need to pick some causes that you believe in and align with them if you're as part of your marketing strategy. Otherwise, you just look like a corporate bandwagoner. And I believe there are really, really good organisations out here doing things in the world. And then I think there are things that have been started for the right reasons but then have turned into a bit of a corporate bandwagoning piss take. Sure. But one thing that you and I talked about the other day that is like, absolutely disgusting to really think about is the 9 people a day, blokes a day in Australia commit suicide, and like that, it is sad, and it's just so insane to think of that stat. But not, and then I guess like the reason I'm bringing that up is that there are people out there that might listen to what you just said and not have the mental fortitude that you had, because like not everyone's going to get to where you did in footy because they're the ones from the rep teams that dropped away, and it is really fucked that this is where the country's got to with mental health. I believe
it's a big part of our. I think it's systemic from a couple of ways, right? One is that people don't know what good looks like, or they do, and they think they can't get back there. I think it also comes down to a big part of it is how we breed confidence and teach confidence to young men. And I think that's probably something you can relate to a bit there, Ben, is how we do that. But I think it's also about building an element of resilience. And yeah, you're right, the statistics shit. It's not a good look at all.
Mm-hmm.
We're in an industry where it is higher than any other industry in the world, and it's about how we try to what can we do to contribute to the reduction in that, right? And there are no real answers to it.
No.
I'm going to say something a little bit controversial here, but what is it? Like, be honest, what is it? If you get to a point where you think, where is your thoughts constantly?
Do you want me to tell you what I think it is? And it was Jim Jeffries, the comedian, summed it up, and I've never forgotten this. And he said, we were the generation that were brought up to be told you can be anything you want and you're going to be anything you want. And then one day, all of a sudden, we don't.
And
you're not.
I'm glad you bring this up, because you can be what you. It's all about me. When it comes down to it, it's selfish.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all you're thinking about is yourself. Me, I. Now, if you really thought about others, the people you love most are the most devastated, all those things.
Oh.
If you don't want to feel depression, if you don't want to feel these things in life, serve the people you love. Have you ever done something for someone you love, genuinely served them and felt terrible after? Or did you feel like you had a purpose? It's really sad that people get to a point. But in life, we're all taught it's all about me. I'm independent. I can do it on my own. It's all me. But one thing I've learned in life, especially from playing football and being part of a big family, if you want to be successful, you want to be happy, is it's who you surround around you, what the team you put around yourself, and serve the people you love. I'm so happy because every single day I'm constantly serving 8 kids and my wife every single day. Rain, hail, shine, sad. But when I do things, I'm putting food on the table, I've got a roof over their heads, that gives me satisfaction that I'm doing something for someone else. If you want true happiness in life, I've never been happy. All my accomplishments in my life, I couldn't give a toss about, to be honest with you. Do you know things I really love? When my son won the cross country, when my daughter sung at the Christmas pageant, when I see my kids achieving something, when I'm helping them to reach their true potential. I know it might sound controversial, but to me,
it doesn't at all, mate.
Not
like
at all.
I, what, like I again, I
don't understand. I can't. I've never been in there. I know you haven't walked a mile on this. I totally get where people are at.
We're talking about the. I think there's 2 segments to it, and we do have to break it up, right? So one is obviously the act thereof, right? Which we are saying is selfish and unjust, and that the person couldn't see a way out, and it is what it is.
It's
right?
so sad that they get to that point.
Absolutely, but what you're talking about is the in between that, right? So from birth to death, what are we filling it with? And where are we finding our comfort and our lack of isolation?
Let's be honest. What gives you purpose? What's the thing that gives you the most joy in life? Be honest right now. Is it making money or is it your family?
I'm really glad you brought this up. And to answer your question, it is serving others, right? In whatever way I can.
Who are you serving that makes you happy?
Well, it's my immediate circle. It's my family.
It's the people you love.
Correct.
Is that the same for you?
Yeah, mate. Look, I honestly, it's my wife and my dog. Like I don't have kids. That's it. And like I think about this a lot.
Too. You got
and I've got good mates, and
I guarantee you, if your mate needed you, you'd be there in a heartbeat for him. And how would you feel being there in the time of need where he's struggling or hurting, or he might be going through depression as well at the time? But if you go and help him, and you can see him get that spark, that light come back in, not the darkness, that light come in. How does that make you feel?
Yeah.
Now, that's the same with all of us. We're so busy at trying to get rich ourselves or trying to do everything ourselves, but helping others and doing that will not only help you, but it's going to help others around. I'll give you a perfect example of this. One thing that makes Queensland so great, is because Cameron Smith, Billy Slater, Cooper Cronk, Jonathan Thurston, Petro Simnasiva, Darren Lockyer, I have never heard them once say, I'm going to do, in the media or anywhere saying, I'm going to do this in the game. It's always we. We are going to do this. And why that I was a part of that Queensland series when I was part of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. The thing that I said could never be done. We won 8 in a row of them. But the thing that makes Queensland so successful is you put the team before yourself constantly. If you want to stand out as an individual, be a team player because you will shine so brightly because everyone around you elevates you and raises you up. And that's what's so special about Origin that a lot of people don't understand. And they don't get, like people say, Queensland spirit. That's what it is putting the state, the people who are doing it tough, that your teammates above you and sticking, no matter when you get tired, fatigued, you stick to the team plan. You don't be selfish and do your own thing. And to give you an example of this is science. It's been proven. You can look it up, YouTube it. I saw it on Instagram, actually. But a Clydesdale horse can pull 8,000 pounds. Now, how much can 2 Clydesdale horses pull? You know your maths. One does 8. How many should 2?
Sorry, I didn't.
We're in earth moving. We're in earth moving, mate. I think it's
8 plus
6,000.
8
It's 16,000.
8 plus 8 is 16,000, right?
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah, right.
2 Clydesdale horses
Compounds.
can pull 22,000 pounds. But
Yeah.
this is the really cool thing. The really cool thing. Even just if they just pull together, it's not 16, it's 22,000 pounds. But if you train those 2 Clydesdales to pull simultaneously at the same time to work together, they can actually pull 32,000 pounds. So that's what I'm saying. Build people around you, work together. That's this Queensland team. This is us in our business right now. This is us with our wife. This is us with our kids. Is build that team around where you pull together the same. Your North face the same. And as you do that, that's equivalent. What's 32? That's equivalent to 4 Clydesdale horses. That's only 2.
And I don't want to make light of the situation. It's like the little D6D from Antarctica and
We
the
love-
D7H, mate, just
I'm
pushing
telling you.
away.
So I'm saying,
Just linking up and pushing away. No, but that's incredible.
That's science, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Isn't that like
That's
realistically?
huge,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
That's why it's so important. When people talk about leadership in business, is you're not trying to micromanage everything yourself. It's putting people in key roles that have the same game plan as you, that are on the same page as you, that's willing to work, pull at the same time as you. And that's why you turn something average where you thought it was going to be, this little business turns to these massive, big, successful things. Not because you're all individually brilliant. It's because you came together at one and you're singing off the same hymn book and you're pulling at the same time. That's where success is. And that's where I'm excited with my business at. I'm very early, I'm very young, but I'm putting good people around me and I'm enjoying the journey of getting my little wins. Like to me, it's massive. I love seeing progression. And that's, if you get anything from the podcast, hopefully that is putting good people around and working together. It's not about you.
Until last episode with Tommy Campbell from Final Trim Excavations, we
Great
never
guy, Tommy.
once ever touched on wellness in this forum. But I will say one thing. It's been a bit of a common theme lately. Like everybody has shit days. Not everyone has a Wayne Bennett or someone.
Sometimes you don't want to.
And
Wayne
it's how you
Bennett, trust me.
but I think I have fucking shit days, but I think the more sometimes you try, like if you are having a shit day, go and do what I think gives you the spark back. Well, I hope you can find the spark.
You just said you have those days.
Yeah.
Be honest. What gets you out of that? Do you get out of it? Some days we don't get out of it.
Exactly right.
You have to do something.
I tell you what, to be completely honest, the anxiety of doing nothing is greater than the anxiety of all the things I'm snowed under gives me. Like it's the only way out of the storm is through it. So just get out and fucking do it. And I tell you,
that's not easy. That's actually hard. Getting up and you sit on the couch. It's very hard to get off that couch.
And I will say one other thing is a quote that I read a long time ago, and it always just sits with me. If you stare into an abyss long enough, the abyss will stare into you. You can't look too far into that abyss for too long, or you just got to fucking get out of it. What other choice you have?
I tend to agree entirely with that. Just to touch on what Ben was saying before, and we the whole heavy is the crown, right, of leadership, right? Because it can be a lonely place, but we talk about how we get the best out of our own teams in at work, whether that's the operators on the ground. In our business, we've got labourers right up to our director, right? So when you've got 100 plus staff, and you've got to keep all those people fed, I think it's a big part of that is getting them all on the same train and on the same journey, because you want a team of A players, right? we understand that we don't necessarily want a team made up of 3 Ben Hannants, right?
No.
So
Yeah.
that's not what we want. But
That's a big food bill.
I think a lot of it is making sure that everyone's aligned on that value, on those values, and those on the mission and on the journey to achieve greatness. And whether that's in business or whether that's in footy, it's about how do we get these like-minded individuals to always perform at optimum, knowing that when they can't, that someone else will step in and give a little bit more.
Well, I'll give you an example what success is. And I learned this from playing footy as well. Sorry, there's so many football stories coming out now. But in my whole footy career, in 12 years, I found out that the key to success, number one, is you need great leadership. Say, example on the footy field, great leadership in the head office. Like we see at the West Tigers back in the day where their head office was in shambles and terrible leadership there where they were. They're getting better now where they're heading, which is great. But leadership with your senior players, with your coach, all that sort of thing of who's your leaders, who you're looking up to when times are tough, are they setting that example? And the key is not saying the right things, but setting the example of doing the right things that need to be done on and off the field. Number one, leadership. Second is direction. For a footy club, it might be what's the culture? What's the game plan for the coach?
Yeah, true.
What's the game plan for the players? How are we going to execute? What the direction? Where are we heading? What's the what are we trying to achieve? Is it to win a comp? Is it to finish in the top 6? Is it to win whatever it may be? Is the leadership direction. The third thing is the hardest. And this is the hardest one because most people aren't willing to do this. And I learned this from Melbourne Stored, and this is the stories I heard out of Origin. And I've spoken to Nate Miles at a gig just about a month ago, and he confirmed that they do this. Now, the third one is accountability. Now, how often in the last, probably bar the last couple of years, the Melbourne Storm for 10 years, how many back-to-back games did they lose in 10 years?
Oh, it was minimal.
It was 2 or 3. So if they lost, you'd go to sports bet and you put them to win the next week and they'd win every time. They've only lost back to games in like a 10-year period like 3 times because they're accountable. And this, at the end of their video session when Craig Bellamy gets up and speaks and they go through the video, and once that's done, the coaching staff leave, the senior players get up. And in front of the group, they say, stand up if you didn't do your job on the weekend. How confronting would that be? Imagine doing that in the workplace.
Oh.
Stand up if you didn't do your job. You'd consider that bullying, right? Or, in BC world, it didn't come from a place of it's your fault we lost. None at all. And then what they do is say to the group, is there anyone else that should be standing up?
Mm.
So imagine being in that situation. Then they stand up and then they ask them to tell the group, what are they going to do next week to make sure that doesn't happen again? Or what are they going to do to make sure they're in the side next week? And they say, I did X, Y, Z. I wasn't happy with this. I'm going to fix this. They take accountability, and then all week at training, they fix those mistakes that they had in the game. And so when they're playing that next weekend, they know that those mistakes are not going to happen again.
Mm.
Yeah.
Jocko Wilmot talks about exactly that extreme ownership. Right?
Leadership is so important. The direction of where you're heading. But the third thing is in radio, we had no accountability in radio because big personalities, that was the biggest. We weren't singing off the same hip. That's something that's so important. And from the Melbourne Storm, set that example for decades in the NRL is that accountability. And I learned that with those 3, if you take accountability for what you did in that game, not what your teammates did, but what you did, there's a very good chance that's the recipe for success.
Jocko Willing, Goggins, you read their books, you look at these like elite mentalities, but one thing that
I'll go the audio books, mate.
Well, so do I, because I don't have to. One thing,
Big
though,
word,
that they
scary.
do all have in common is at some point, no matter how hard they are, they've talked about a moment where they've broken down, where their bodies, they didn't rest. They didn't, even footy, you've got to go ham the whole time, but you have your rest days, you have your recovery days, you've got your physio. One common theme we've been talking about lately, and particularly in running a small business, is when you mightn't have the resources or the luxuries to delegate out to several, rows down the line, is that burnout is real. And what do you think, Benny, is the point where the winning mentality has to also acknowledge that I just need to fucking rest. I need to go and sleep properly. Where does that
You're
hit?
asking the wrong person.
Yeah, I get the feeling that's the case.
I know, and that's why I want to ask you, like,
DJP,
I'll give you
man.
a perfect example of this. I'll get another good story for you guys. So in 2005, I debuted for the Sydney Roosters. I debuted down there playing main area. I'm on about $120,000. I get a phone call from Wayne Bennett saying, "Well, I want you back here at the Broncos." I'm like, flipping hell, I've always wanted to be a Brisbane Bronco. I only played reserve grade there. My first year out of school as an 18-year-old.
Existing relationship with Bennett.
And I was like, I said, what are you willing to do, Wayne? I didn't have a manager at the time. And he said, a 2-year deal, $150,000 a year for the 2 years. So $300,000 deal for 2 years. I said, done deal, done. I go to training the next day. I pull Ricky Stewart aside, who was the head coach of the Roosters. I told him, I'm not re-signing with them. I'm actually going to sign with Brisbane. I'm thinking, okay, sweet, he took that well. Next day I get a text message, reserve grade starts at this time in the afternoon. Ivan Cleary was the reserve grade coach, champion bloke, awesome. I get dropped to reserve grade. I finish the year off in reserve grade. We make the grand final there as well. But then came off season, I thinking to myself, Wayne hasn't contacted me. I don't know when preseason starts. I have no idea when it is. So I call Wayne Bennett up. I got his mobile number. I call him up. Wayne, I just want to say I'm excited to be there next year, but no one's contacted me and told me when preseason is. He goes, oh, sorry, Ben, I forgot about you. I said, what? He goes, I forgot about you. I am 20 years of age, not even 21 yet, 20 years of age, just got married, just had my first kid, just bought my first house, just got a car, and I just got told, I forgot about you. There's no money left in the salary cap. I've got wife, kids, all this. I'm thinking, I'm like, so what? I've said no to every other club. Everyone else has spent their cap. What am I supposed to do? And he's like, we have one spot in our top 25 squad, but it's for minimum wage. I said, what's minimum wage? $52,000. So I'm an NRL player, 2006 on $52,000. I played every game that year, 26 rounds, whatever it was, all the semis. I pretty much played 30 games of NRL for $52,000. Guess what? Interest rates were through the roof back then. I think it was like 8% back then. I couldn't, my mortgage was more than that $52,000. I had a choice. Do I sell up everything? Do I move in with the in-laws? Do I take the easy option? Or do I find a way to win? Do I find a way? Like I said, life isn't fair. So I'm thinking to myself, I couldn't sleep. I'm thinking I've got a wife, got a kid that's on the spectrum as well. So he wouldn't sleep. He was a hard kid. I'm thinking, what can I do? I don't want to sell my place. I don't want to go backwards. I can do more. I'm going to find a way to do it. I'm going to get a second job. What job works as a 21-year-old kid fighting against Shane Webke, Petro Stevens, all those big name guys? I'm 21 with only 8 games of NRL experience. I'm not guaranteed a game in the NRL, but I'm thinking I need to put food on the table first. What job can I get that will work with being a full-time football player? There isn't many. I found one job. That job was waking up at 11:45 at night. So my alarm clock would go off before midnight. I'd leave home at midnight, drive to Brisbane to Rockley fruit and veg markets and throw boxes of fruit and veg around for 7 hours. So I'd finish there at 8 o'clock in the morning, get in my car after doing a 7-8 hour shift and race to footy training. Make sure I wasn't late because you got fined if you're late. Rock up to training after doing a 7-hour shift. And then I'm fighting against Petro, Shane Webke, and fighting
all fresh as a daisy.
They're all fresh as a daisy. Wayne didn't even know I was doing that for months. Didn't tell anyone about it because that was my problem I needed to fix, and I had to do it.
Was that pride or was that?
No, I just wanted to put food on the table for my family. What I'm saying is if you want, the only thing that's going to stop you achieving what you want is you. That was the least money I've ever made in my life was 2006. But if you tell me the one time in your life where you're most proud of yourself, where you realised I could do anything, was 2006. It wasn't about the money I was getting. It was I was supporting my family. I didn't give up. You try driving to work at midnight after having training would finish at 5 o'clock in the afternoon in 2006. We'd do weights in the afternoon at 4 o'clock. Then I'd have to drive 2 hours in peak hour traffic. I wasn't getting home sometimes till 6 o'clock at night. And I've got to be up and then I've got to spend time with my wife and kids. But that's the cross I had to bear at the time. But that's what it took. Sometimes you have to go out sleep. Sometimes you have to push yourself. Why put limits? Why put a ceiling on yourself? I didn't put a ceiling on myself in 2006 because I was sick. I was a young boy. I was sick and tired of being a nobody. I was sick and tired of having nothing. I was sick and tired of sitting there. And I couldn't control my outcomes when I was a kid because I wasn't in the driver's seat. I was an adult then. I was in the driver's seat and I decided I was going to make things happen. And we won a premiership that year. I didn't sell my house. My family did really well. Me and my wife got closer than we ever have. A lot of sacrifice from her as well. But that year, if you say any time of your life where you're most proud of what you did, Wasn't the money, wasn't anything else. It was 2006 where I found a way to reach my true potential. I was living off 3 hours of sleep a night, but I found a way to win a premiership. I found a way to stay in that NRL side. I found a way not to sell my house. That's something I'm proud of.
Two things. One, how old are you now?
How old do you think I am? Is this boat?
41.
Geez, you
Thanks, Wikipedia. So,
should have said 38.
I,
No brownie points.
well, how do you
answer
reckon?
to.
How do you reckon your 41-year-old body would hold up for doing that for 12 months now?
If I had to do it, I'd do
Yeah.
it. If I had to sell, if I had to pack shelves at Woolworths, I'd do it.
Yep.
But why? Why would I do that? And why would you do it? Because you want to serve the people you
For my
love.
family. Yeah.
Exactly. And the thing is, there's a lot of people that have businesses. A lot of people, successful people, have lost everything many a times
Yeah.
over. But the great thing is, we all know, and a lot of business owners here know that no matter how bad things get, if things lose it, you know the game plan, you know the recipe to get back to where you need to be. I know how to work hard. I know no matter what, if this doesn't work in this industry for me, I'll just work harder at something else, and guess what? I'll get to where I need to be. I follow that game plan: leadership, direction, accountability, all those things I said earlier. No matter what, money will. It's not about being rich and making all the money. I want to be happy and reach my potential. For me, as an average kid that grew up with 10 brothers and sisters, I feel like I'm so blessed. I'm living the dream. Is it easy? No, but I love every day trying to better myself and better the people I love. It's a good feeling. I'm happy.
Thinking forward, Ben, tell us about what Hannant High looks like in the next 5 years.
I think is
Did I segue too quickly?
Well, I
for
just
you?
want to know what Wayne said when he found out you were moonlighting at the fruit market.
Yeah,
he
there's
was
the
fine with it.
point.
He didn't stop me. Not
Did
at
you
all,
just
'cause
say?
I need
Did you
to.
say good?
Well, I was playing good football. I
Yeah.
played every game
Yeah.
that year. You look at how many games I
Yeah.
played in two. Like with all my injuries, playing in the front row. My first year of football, I only played 8 games of football.
Yeah.
My first year, that was it. Once I told them I signed with the Broncos, that's it. 8 games in a row, and I got dropped. Didn't
Yeah.
get put back up. But in my whole 12-year career, I averaged 22 games per season. I didn't miss
250
much
plus.
footy. 245 NRL games I got. So that and like I said earlier, is no matter what's happening in your life, no matter when you go to work, when you decide it's game time, when it's time, you perform. And the good thing is it makes you feel good. When you reach your potential and you push through that hurt and the hardness and you're carrying an injury, whatever it is, and you get that win, what better feeling in the world is that?
I think we're seeing extreme discipline.
Oh, mate, I was going to say,
guy
can I?
is
Not the food at the moment.
Can you
I'm
just
CBC
message-
chubby but cute at the moment.
I just need you to message me real early every morning.
Yeah, can you send us motivational texts?
Nudes or
Yeah, they'll do.
You know, you're I just before we dive in this next segment. So, one of my mates, and now a couple of us are in on this thing where we've been laughing about stock yellow emojis and older blokes, and there's sort of memes online about dads. You write your dad like a long message and he just replies with the yellow thumb. You hit me with a stock gold yellow thumb yesterday. I love a gold yellow thumb.
I'm sorry, but
That's how Ben communicates. Ben gives me a thumbs up. I send him an okay.
everyone tells me like that's a bad thing. My kids
Nah,
say,
man.
to me, a thumbs up is
Yeah,
Nah.
we understand each other.
We're bringing it back, and my mate's calling it the Chinese lunar year of this, and they said it's the Chinese year of the yellow thumb. And in 2026, we're listening and urging all our audience to just bring it back. Like, there's too many emojis, there's too many color versions of different things. We just want to see that stock yellow thumb
thumbs
more
good.
often.
And if you're
Yeah.
filling up for it, little shuckers.
Yeah,
every now and
shucker
again.
as well. Yeah,
For me,
shucker and a thumb.
for me, it's the
Oh,
Italian.
yes.
Oh.
I try and use it, and I type in fingers, and it's like, I don't know, what do you, sort of like hands? Like, I don't know what to do.
What motion you do?
I don't know.
Your wife
Well,
might
me
like
nerves.
it.
As you know, I went to, so just for everyone watching, I'm currently suffering from a nerve issue, and I went to shake Ben's
He's got a
hand.
little limp
He's
wrist.
got out of the car, and I said, "Don't shake hard."
Well, bye-bye.
Give me a strong hand, child.
Oh man, it's actually like, even I'm moving it around the desk now to keep it sort of comfortable. But I want to segue into our segment called Heavy Business, and it's brought to you by McGregor Finance Group. Craig McGregor is a friend of a fair few of ours.
Shout out to Craig.
Shout out to Craigie, baby. And Craig is the reason why we're sitting in this room today. He's helped me out a lot with finance, and he is one of the first backers to get behind the
So you
show.
can give me a couple of loans as well. Can
Mate,
I?
you can,
I've
100%.
referred him a few. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. So whether it's cash flow, operational stuff, for plant and equipment, finance, Craig's the man. So heavy business is where we just sort of pause the general flow of the episode and want to get your insights on a few things. So like today, what I've got here is like, what's your experience been in financing equipment and scaling your fleet? Are you running with OEM finance options? Like, what do you do? Do you have a finance guy?
I've got a finance guy. So first thing I did when I started my business is what am I good at and what am I not good at? Straight up. And what I'm not good at is the finance and the emails and the bookkeeping and the cash, taking charge of cash flow and projections and all those things you need to get finance. So I partnered up with someone who does that very, very well. And honestly, it's been a game changer for me to have someone where I'm not good at. And this is how Wayne Bennett works as well. Wayne Bennett is not, if you saw his tactical side of playing footy, it's very plain Jane. But he gets the best attacking coach, the best defensive coaches, and lets them do their job. And that's what I do in the sectors of my business that I'm not very good at, is I allow them to do their job. Do we work together? They let me do my things. I stay in my lane. They stay in their lane. We work together and we get the job done. And that, I think that's really important, is what you lack and what you struggle with. Like Craigie boy, he's your man. If you haven't got someone, I've got a guy that's very good at, but that's what you need
100%.
is someone to pick up the slack that you're not good at. And you got to own what you're not good at. Like realistically, I'm never going to be good at those things. I don't want to be good at those things because I can pay someone to do that for me, which is a lot less than what my hourly rate would be. So,
and if you
my hourly rate's expensive too, by the way, if you want it.
So like you're an ex-NRL player, now a media personality. Beyond all of the industry specialisation, I am a glorified graphic designer from advertising world that come up with cool ideas. You're a wheeler and dealer. Unless you've gone out and done your MBA and learnt business management, it is learned along the way. And it's very easy to get yourself into trouble if you don't have the right people around you.
100%.
And that's what I've discovered fairly quickly.
Is scary. That's why I don't.
No one sits down and says that you actually have to pay tax when you're making money, and then all of a sudden you get a tax bill. And where did that come from?
And when you're a kid and you're working for someone or the NRL, they pay your tax for you.
Yeah,
exactly right.
It's like, I've got all this money. Oh, let's go buy some more equipment.
Exactly
By the way, you got to pay tax on this.
And they're not real good at spending it just quietly. I think I've known Craig through the industry for some time, and what I really appreciate with Craig is that with McGregor Finance, what they do is they present you structures that are otherwise unknown to us. So we're great at going out, winning the work, getting the guys online, delivering a result for a customer, but like you say, it's about putting people and playing to their strengths, right? So you get someone like Craig in your corner, and this guy's got your back all the way through.
Yep.
And you don't want to have to worry about that stuff.
No.
Let them do that. They'll find a way to get it done. You give them the right paperwork, whatever they need, they'll get the job done, and which allows you to do your job.
Exactly right.
As the business has grown, there's things I looked at other people with successful businesses and thought, how do you do that? And now that I'm doing those things, it was literally just get the right person in place to do that for me. Not try and work it out yourself. There's no magic formula.
Cuts it in half, mate. And this guy will explain it all to you properly. So Craig's a great communicator. Walks you through the whole through all the phases and all the steps to make sure that he gets a result that works for you and your business.
And also, particularly plant hire businesses, whether you're wet or dry hire, good at that stuff too. And that's all. I'm going to just go back to back segments. We got a new segment, and I actually, in all seriousness, this is another humbling moment as we grow the show. Another sponsor's come on board that is genuinely a fan of the show. Jim Lee from the Fleet Office has reached out to us, and with Zoe Morris, just in the last couple of weeks, come on board as a partner. And
So what do they do?
so Luke is actually a customer of the Fleet Office,
actually.
so he can explain it better than me, and then I'm going to give you a rundown.
Look, when Brian told me that Jim was coming on board with Fleet Office, I was like, I know this business and I know it well. So I've been lucky enough to implement Fleet Office into one previous business, and I'm working in a business currently at Leader that actively utilise that system. So it's one of the only. There's not many of them around, and it's probably the most functional. It's a plant management software, but it's complete end to end like an ERP. So we're able to run our rental operations from that piece of software, as well as all of our service and maintenance, and all of our tracking, all of our fuel logging. It's a complete solution that goes from start to finish when you're running a rental business. So it does your hire contracts for you. All your forms are in there. All your tracking of your assets, so you can check utilisation, who's got what. They've told me they're not using it today. Bang, it's been turned on. All the fun
money.
Exactly right. So they've got it's a pretty unique system. But what's really special about it is it's been developed by somebody who comes from the industry, and he's followed through and seen where all the problems are, along the way and listens to the feedback of his clients and then gets the updates in place. So it's a very special system, and I enjoy using it. I've always had it in the last 2 businesses. I think in one it saved us 88 man hours per month just in our invoicing alone. Yeah. So it was huge.
We got Zoe took me on a demo earlier in the week, and it was a quite expedited demo because we're all time poor these days, and I do look forward to learning more about it when we catch up the next time. But one of the things that I saw, like we've spoken about this with your business, is about the importance of efficiency, like down to tracking As a wise man once said on a video we recently produced, seconds make up the minutes make up, et cetera, et cetera.
Hey,
I'm not going to give you any more.
I made 6 babies in about 33 seconds, so it does count, guys. Every second counts.
But look, it was really impressive in seeing how like you're able to set geo fences, so know when this machine enters this area, what its idle times are, particularly in this current climate, fuel efficiency. So look, we're really stoked that the fleet office has come on board the show, and they genuinely enjoy the show. And I've since learnt companies like VE Group, C Group, Conplant, they're fairly well utilised throughout the industry. So I think I don't know what do you have in place to track?
We've got something similar to that, but I'm very interested about finding a bit more about this. I might be switching over. But we had an incident with one of our diggers that were out, and because you can see every time it moves where it goes, and these diggers on tracks shouldn't be getting tracked for kilometres.
Yeah, the odd 20 minute
sometimes when you dry hire, some people take advantage of your equipment, and you wonder why your tracks are worn out and they need to be replaced twice as quick. Well, then you have the feedback and the intel to go back to the people hiring and say, hang on a minute, this went on here. You guys now got to start finding a way to make this right. Otherwise, there's going to be an issue. So it's just understanding what is big for me is understand this equipment is millions of dollars. It's my life on the line. I want to make sure I'm protecting that equipment. I can see that equipment. I understand that's running right, that's been serviced at the right time, all those things. If you don't have that, you don't give a toss about your equipment. I think you don't care. So it's super important. And I want to know a little bit more.
Mate,
I will find out after.
Well, we'll definitely put you in touch with the guys. But this is an introduction to Tech Talk going forward. And we don't want to jam our show up with too many segments, but there's certain elements of running a business in the heavy sector that are important. And one is the day-to-day operations, which is why we have the heavy business segment. Tech Talk is about what's happening out there in the industry, sharing information about things that are improving your business efficiency. We've just got back from ConExpo. There's obviously a lot of tech that you spent days on the floor. Luke he was barely not in the expo. He was only at the expo.
It's the only place I go when I'm in Vegas.
I think you got a photo of every...
I saw you in a couple other places, mister. All right?
I didn't see any of you in those establishments.
There may have been a couple of poles in holding the roof up, of course.
I don't donate that money lightly. But no, look, I think coming back from ConExpo, and that's actually where I reconnected with Ben after some time, and obviously seeing your good self there.
I've been there every year.
He was the expo.
Okay,
that's exactly right. It was. Didn't you see him at the?
I didn't see anyone. Everyone was there, but I barely saw anyone.
It was Thunder from Down Under. Benny was on stage at Magic Mike. He was
clothing optional.
Exactly right. He was out there doing the introductions. No, I think coming back from there, I think one of the biggest things that I took away from it, and I always tried, it's a huge investment to go over there, right? So you're taking time out of your day, and it's a lot of money, and It's one of the only real opportunities that a lot of people get in our sector, even as competitors, to come together as just people that all have the same problems, right? And we all do, whether that's utilisation or whether that's how we manage our fleet or the efficiency that we're getting out of it or how we're able to add value back to our clients. And so I think the biggest thing I took away from the show, particularly from Caterpillar and our great representatives that we have from WestTrack, Benny has some guys at Hastings, what really took us, what really made the trip worthwhile for us was understanding how the OEMs are utilising AI to develop solutions and fast track a lot of the processes that come through day to day in running our businesses. So it's actually something that we've Philip and I had a great conversation with somebody yesterday who specialises in that space and about how we can implement AI into our own businesses.
That's going to be a game changer.
Mate, huge.
It's so much.
We're not just talking about how AI is going to improve efficiency from an administrative point of view. It's about trying to see the problems before they become big problems, right? So it's about telling us where our forecasting is weak, but also telling us where our geez, we've spent X amount of money over the last X amount of moments on this particular component on this machine. Hey, maybe we should bring that up with the OEM, sit down with them and say, hey, are you seeing this across your data? And then getting that matched, it's the power of it's just insane. And then the end result is the machines in the field running on simple tasks. So that's what we're seeing at the moment. Not so much complex excavation, but what we're seeing is trenches that are getting dug with an excavator that's autonomous, it's on its own, it's running safely, it's running efficiently, reasonably, but it's not going to replace an operator entirely. But if I can get a straight trench dug with an autonomous excavator, it makes a lot of sense, because then I can put my good guys onto work that needs to be done that requires a bit of nous and human interaction. Right?
Well, like it's going to make easy tasks obsolete tasks, medium tasks now easy tasks, and hard tasks. Like, it's just leveling everybody up in every aspect.
I think the big thing, and Benny, you and I discussed this today, was about the shortages that we're seeing as an industry, right? So the civil construction industry as a whole, even the mining sector as well. We all talk about, we can all see the glaring issues that are coming up with our businesses. And they're that, geez, there's a massive skill shortage. Geez, we can't seem to get operators that are willing to start on a shovel in the trench and then work their way up into a machine. And it's hard to make that sexy and attractive to a young bloke.
Yep.
And the select few, the really special few who do it, just dominate and they come right through. But I think what we're seeing is the skill shortage isn't going to go away anytime soon, and it's because that us as an industry aren't doing enough to do anything about it, right? So whether there's certain people who do a great job at it. Andy Dival is one of them. Andy Dival does a great job trying to attract and bring the spark of the industry into these young minds and these young hearts, where he puts them into a simulator or he'll get them onto a machine, and he's a regional employer, very well respected, does a fantastic job in that. But I think if we're all a little bit more like Andy, we'd go a lot further. Mm. But we're all
and
guilty
ate
of
as
it
many
too.
bananas as Andy as well. Big fan of bananas.
He's a mad banana eater. But I think the biggest issue we've got is we're not doing enough about it. We all know the situation's there. So how are we going to fix it? Are we going to wait for AI to do it?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I look at how do we create roles and get people into those positions that want to be there, and get them in quickly. Like, we talk about the Olympic Games coming up in Queensland.
It's going to be massive growth.
Exactly, huge for us. And you and I were discussing that at length and saying, well, where are we getting the people from? We're going to bring back 457 visas? I don't know. I don't think that's a solution. Might be. But AI is not going to solve all those problems for us too. So how do we do it? We're going to make these machines easier for these people to operate. And
that's the way I look at it is, like we're doing maths. We all got taught how to do long division and all that. But if you can have a calculator, why not make it quicker,
Mate, I don't know
easier?
how to do any of that.
But I'm just saying that that's what the AI space to me is giving us another tool, which will make things a lot more efficient, easier, and not make us worry and have it's going to minimize the faults. It's going to be less errors because AI will cover those little things.
Yeah. And we're seeing even a lot of really old, more experienced operators come through the mix who've got great credentials, great referees. They've sent photos of their work that's unbelievable, and they're all doing it by hand, and they're saying, hey, guys, I'd love to come work for you, but I don't have any GPS experience. Now, every machine we run in the leader fleet has GPS. So to get someone who hasn't got that, it's like, okay, well, I still need you to cut it to a file. I know you can do it by eye, by feel, and these guys are just some of them are getting left behind by the tech. If we had a way to get them skilled up really quickly, comfortable with what they're using, they'd be huge assets to our business.
Change is intrinsically scary in any aspect of life, and different sectors experience different technological advancements at different times. And AI has we're not a tech podcast. We're not going to sit here and talk about advancements in AI. It's well documented across the media right now, all around the world. But I saw there's a book, Lateral Thinking by Edward de Bono, and he's talking about change, and he uses the example of like the primitive cars. To start the car, you cranked it, and then it went to this technology. Then it went to up until the point where you put the key in to turn the ignition, and you don't need to know any of the other shit anymore. I don't need to know. I couldn't do long division because I don't need to know it anymore. And then it went to the button start. Now you get into the Tesla, you approach the car, and it's already on, and the door's open, and like that's just now going to apply further into the heavy equipment sector as well.
Are we getting massages in our seats, in our diggers? I hope so.
I think that'd be a nice way to go. I might go back to operating a machine.
Yeah.
Not real good at it. Phil seems to think that I'm better at pushing paper than I'm at pushing dirt. We'll give it a go.
But look, I just want to wrap that up because I don't know where it began and where it ended. But the Tech Talk segment is coming every episode, and we're really stoked to the Fleet Office for coming on board.
Thanks to Fleet Office.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. And look, if you want to learn more about Fleet Office, jump onto their website or jump onto our website, dirtandall.com, scroll down to partners, click through that way and you can book in a demo. Check out how it can improve your business. I should work for Triple M. Speaking of Triple M, you've said Sivan Asiva so many times, and all I can hear is like Ray Warren's. So
that's not actually how you say his name. It's Divinadiva. It's actually how you say it properly.
Can you give me your...
It's the Divinadiva, but
is it?
He's fine with Sivan.
Can you do a rap?
Can you do a Ray Warren impression?
Can you do it? Yes, you have to. Come on, everyone can do it.
No. You give me one. What do you got?
Fridge and a freezer. That's the... Isn't that
7 cents a litre.
Yeah.
I wish petrol was that price. Diesel, holy.
Oh,
geez,
wow.
That's another story.
Yeah, what a time to be alive.
We're laughing about shit things.
Talk me through your gig with Triple M. Like, what's an engagement with Triple M look like? How's it?
So I changed. So I was doing breakfast radio for 8 years for CFM actually, which is the same company as Triple M.
Yep.
Obviously, CFM's a younger demo because I'm so young and good looking. Of course, I was with the younger crew.
You're a spring chicken, mate. You're young.
For the last 3 years now, I've got my own show on Triple M. So I was doing breakfast radio Monday to Friday, 6 to 9 in the morning. And that was my job. I was getting paid as much as I was playing footy doing that, which is awesome. But the problem was I was feeling like I wasn't progressing. I'm not learning. It was just an easy way to make money, and I wasn't pushing myself to become better.
You wanted to be the John Laws, didn't you? You wanted the
golden tonsils. Yeah.
I love talking. I love building relationships. That's fantastic. But I wasn't pushing myself. Like always wanted to own my own business. But life was too easy.
Yeah.
And it came to a point where my contract was finishing up and they said, we're not renewing it. And so literally in 2 weeks' time, my money dries up and I had to reinvent myself. So I actually went out to the mines, learnt the trade, learned the language, and understood and just watched and learnt out there.
Yep.
And within 4 months, I learned how to operate diggers and moxie trucks and water trucks and graders and all the fun things. I got to get on and get my license in, but understand those things, which now helps me for when everything I'm doing in my business now. I've been in those machines. I've serviced those machines. I understand what wears and tears in those machines. And I wouldn't be the business I am today if I didn't get boots on ground myself and do that. And in a 3-month period, my wife saw me for 3 days because from doing roster, 2 weeks on, 1 week off, the 1 week off, I'd be in Sydney doing gigs, speaking gigs, or I'd be playing a game of football, whatever it was. But for 3 months, I barely saw my family because that's what I needed to do my time, do my apprenticeship, so to say, to get myself in the position where we are now, where I've got a lot more spare time where I can spend with my family.
When you're approaching the end of your tenure in NRL, not just you, anybody in this. Like I watched the various Fox shows after the game. I particularly enjoyed Matty Johns. But you see when they're sort of earmarked and like grooming people that are reaching the end of their career based on age, and you sort of see who's good at talking. And were you sort of guided into that role, or did you just did people? How did that happen?
I had to quit football to be a radio announcer.
Yeah, right.
So I always worked 2 jobs my whole career. When I was at the Roosters, I worked counting the money in the pokies every morning. So I go to work at 4 a.m. in the morning, finish at 7 o'clock, and then go into NRL training. That's what I did when I was Roosters. The Broncos, I did the markets. But when I was up in Townsville, I didn't really have a job that per se, but I always wanted to push myself and advance my knowledge and push myself out of my comfort zone. And they asked for one of us players to come into the studio once a week and do a segment with them. And I thought, yep, I'm happy to do it. I'm doing it for free. That's okay. I'm happy to do it as long as I get to do the way I want to do this segment is I want to pull the curtain back. Everyone hears the same stereotypical answers from footy players. We're doing it for the boys, the same answers constantly. So what I want to do is show off what we're really like at football training, have some fun with the boys. So essentially I'd go on there, I'd take a teammate with me, and I'd take the piss out of them, they'd take the piss out of me, and fans got to know us, what we're like off the football field. They only see the big tough guys on the field. Give you an example, Jason Taumalolo, $10 million player, big front row. A lot of people don't know he's a big kid. An absolute big kid. In 2015, when Pokemon was a big go, Pokemon Go, you'd walk the street. Yeah. He'd walk around the streets, even grand final week, chasing Pokemon at 2 a.m. in the morning. He spent about he's got plenty of money, we know he's but he spent like $3.5 grand buying other people's Pokemon's account. He'd stay up till 2 o'clock playing Halo against the kids. So I'd go on the radio and I'd take the piss out about that. But also before I'd go on the air, I'd be like, by the way, I'm in trouble from my missus from doing X, Y, Z. So I would have a go at him, but he's like, hang on a bit, what about you did such and such? Like what we do in the sheds. Like we always take the piss out of each other, have a good time. And this kept getting repeated always all week would be the highlight, would be our segment. And at the end of the year, after this was 2016, after 2016, they asked me to go down to Brisbane and do a demo. And I'm like, what the hell's the demo for radio? Well, I'm like, just come down, give us a story that's topical, one that's local, and one that's personal. So give us 3 stories. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, how does this work? I'm like, we'll fly you down, like a free trip to go back home, see my family and all that. Done.
Sign me up.
So I flew down, went there, did it. I was in there for about an hour. It felt like 5 minutes. It was a lot of fun. And at the end of it, I was honestly like, okay, we're done. All right. Thanks, guys. That was good. I went home. 2 weeks later, the phone rang and said, what would it take for you to hang your boots up and you to be a breakfast radio announcer full time? So I was signed to play 2017 with the Cowboys. So I had to quit my contract, quit rugby league to be a radio announcer. See, CFM on the Gold Coast, that's what I grew up listening to. And to be able to come back home to the Gold Coast, bring my family home. I was only 31 when I retired from football. I only played till I was 31 because I got this job. Now, I could have gone on to play 300 NRL games plus, but my wife was the one that made me make decisions because you're always constantly looking for something to better yourself or push yourself. You got nothing left to do. You played for Australia, you played for Queensland, you won premierships, you won a Dally M. What more is there to do? You can't read, you can't write, you don't speak in front of people. You get really nervous. You love feeling scared and uncomfortable. This will push you to reach your potential in something else. And she was right. I signed my contract. I told the Cowboys I quit, and the rest is history. And
It was a sad day.
8 years doing breakfast radio on the Gold Coast, and that's the second longest term of anyone doing breakfast at CFM for that period of time. Only Gailey had longer than me on the Gold Coast, so pretty good stint. And now when I finished my show, I brought a lot of money in on the show. A lot of my mates sponsored the show, and that money dried up when I left. And so they said, can you have your own show? You can do what you want, say what you want, whatever you want, as long as you. So my show's been sponsored for the last 3 years. I do my own show, and I enjoy what I do on a Saturday morning, 8 to 11 on Triple M Gold on the Gold Coast.
I love it. I was waiting for it. The spin on the end. Can we do one for Dirt and All?
I don't do that. So that's someone else's job. That's like the nerd that pushes the buttons.
Hey, whoa.
Whoa.
Shout out to
Reese.
Reese boy.
Can we do one for Dirt and All?
I wanted to do the you know how you do the sound bites?
Yeah.
So you do I've got a couple of catchphrases I'd like Ben to say. Can we get those?
What do you got?
Yeah.
I want you to lean back in your chair and go, fuck you, but make eye contact with me at the same time.
I can't. I don't swear.
You don't? Okay,
I don't swear.
Can you go?
Do you know, in my whole
Up yours.
NRL career, I never swore. Do you know why? Because my dad would give me a hiding, and if he saw me even lip saying the F word, at the age of 30, he was still to give me a hiding.
You're a man of principle and a man of honour. I really appreciate that, and that comes through in all of what we've been talking about. So I love that. What about a up yours?
Up yours. What do you mean? Like radio voice? I don't have
no, as if you're upset with me.
Up yours. No, see, I can't do it. I'm too nice. No, I'm a lover, not a fighter.
What about it? You can't be serious.
You can't be serious. No, I've got nothing.
That was good.
Reese is going to edit this into like a really
What
dramatic.
did it go into like a TikTok and be like, you can't be serious? And he's
I like
sounds
the-
like I'm on Home and Away.
I like the,
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I like the welcome back to Dirt and All on the Gold Coast. We're here in Ambrosia studio, joined today by Ben Hannant, ex-NRL player, and Luke Castricum, leader Earthworks. How are you today, boys?
We're doing very well, thank you.
We're brought to you by the Fleet Office, and we're also brought to you by McGregor Finance. We've got Reese back there. He's wearing the Capital Equipment Sales hat, and it's half time at Dirt and All.
Shout out to Reese.
How do they do it? Like when you watch the
Back to you in the
football,
studio.
even when they the Toyota tracker, like how do they remember to link the brands? I need the paper.
They've
in front
got
of
a
me,
piece of
man.
paper in front of them. So when we come, so I commentate most weekends as well in the NRL for Triple M. So the main caller, which is normally like your Dobbo or your Andy Raymonds, those sort of guys, they have a sheet. So when, it might be the McDonald's moment for that, it might be Ream hot water for whatever it is. So each one will have a slogan underneath them. So this will have times 3. That has to be in that broadcast. Has to be done 3 times.
Ream
This has to be 2.
comes on steady, hot and strong.
Yeah, install a Ream.
Yep,
Yeah.
install a great song, actually, to be honest.
You'd be frightened if it wasn't a Triton. That's another one. Yeah, all the sponsorship. Obviously,
Yeah.
you can't have the football without the
No,
sponsorship,
mate,
and it makes everything tick. That's why we got this podcast going right now. It's
Well,
because great people getting behind, and
we were really lucky that we started the podcast when we had a commercial arrangement to start it. And look, it is like I am in marketing. I come from advertising background, but once you turn something that's primarily organic into a commercialized platform, there is an element of, oh fuck, I hope people. Oh, excuse me, sorry, Tira. I mean,
That's all right.
I hope that people still like it, and but I think over time I've just got to get better at the. Dirt and All Halftime brought to you by McGregor Finance. We just need to do a little bit more of that, I think.
But when you see people on radio when they're talking, especially
Yeah.
people that do the pushing the buttons and that, is their facial expressions are really because they've got to sound energetic. They got to be so they're smiling and they're pulling
You've got to
faces
smile to project.
because it sounds
Yes.
different. So a lot of the time when you're talking, otherwise it sounds monotone and boring. Is their facial expressions and the effort they put in. It's a real artwork, actually,
Have you
which
seen
I've
the-
never mastered.
There's a guy on Instagram at the moment doing the rounds, and he's a voiceover actor. He does a lot of ads out of WA.
I've seen this guy.
And he like to see the smile to project. I'll show you after this. It's actually hilarious. But he's in between
Are you
takes.
sure I want to be checking out your history on your?
Oh, Frank Walker.
Mate,
National
it's
Talent.
I'm an open book, completely transparent here. As you know, mate, when you're in the public space, you've got to keep squeaky clean. I want to hear more about your business and what's next. So, like, what are your growth aspirations? Are you trying to take over the world in terms of volume? Do you want to stay specialist?
No,
what's
I
the
want to
plans?
continue to evolve and grow. And at the moment, a lot of our stuff is dry hire at the moment, but we want to move into the wet hire space as well. But also looking to do some stuff with some of my teammates as well. There's a lot of room in the Indigenous space as well. I know Sammy Thaiday, Matty Bowen as well, they've had conversations with them where they've got some connections where they're from, where there's a lot of work that needs to be done. So I think that's a space where the First Nations people, to give them an opportunity not only to work but to grow a business as well and be a partner with some of my old teammates would be pretty exciting as well. But I think there's so much growth happening here in Queensland and in Australia where we've got the Olympic Games coming up here as well. Everyone wants to move here. Everyone wants to live in southeast Queensland, and with now we see also with what's going on in the world with the oil and with coal and everything along those lines, where I think Australia's starting to wake up and realising we need to become self-sufficient, which we can't just keep giving away our minerals to everyone else and then we buy it back off them at a premium. We should be producing our own oil. We should be making our own iron ore. We need to be doing stuff here, not in China. And hopefully our politicians get smarter, and if they do that, and they'll open up a whole nother space where they'll be needing a lot more earthworks moved. They'll need a lot more people in my space working. And I see opportunities partnering up with good people. And at the end of the day, I can only control what I can control, which is when I get an opportunity, I make sure I deliver on that opportunity. And it's building those relationships with these companies. If they give me a shot, they'll never regret it. You give me one opportunity to work for you or to do a job for you, I guarantee you'll be hitting me up to do a second or third one. And that's the type of person I want to be. I want to be approachable, that if there is any issues, you can call me direct, straight up. And I'm only a small business. We're starting small, but we're looking to grow. And it comes down to, I can only be me. If I be me and I'm genuine and I do the job that's right, you'll keep using me. And that's all I hope for moving forward in the future. Where it takes us, I don't know. It's exciting. But, watch your space.
It's awesome, man. And I wouldn't want to be going up against the intensity of that, the guaranteeing to deliver multiple times over and over again, because some of the stories that you've told us today, like
There is relentless discipline.
Yeah.
I just don't fail.
Yep.
I choose not to fail. I choose not to quit. Realistically, it's not fail. We all make mistakes. We all do fail at times, but you only truly fail if you quit.
Yep.
I will never quit. If there's an issue, there's a problem, we will solve that problem. And that's really what people are looking for, is reliability and getting the job done. Because at the end of the day, it costs you money if you don't do that. And I want to make money, and I want these companies that I'm working for to make even more money, because guess what? They're going to keep using me.
100%. 5 quick ones. Sometimes we do 3.
I made a kid in 5 quick ones, actually. Probably 3 quick ones, actually, yeah.
I'm going to kick it off. What's something you believed at age 25 that you completely disagree with now?
Jeez. What I agree with. Oh, I don't know. To be honest, in my head, I still feel 18. My brain hasn't changed. Like, obviously you learn and you come along. But I'm still that same person in my head, and it's crazy. I thought I'd be so much wiser and smarter when I'm 40. In my head, I'm still that stupid, dumb kid that likes to have fun and be an idiot. That's who I am. But I think probably something that I don't agree with anymore that I probably did back in the day is I could justify things happening, whereas now I take responsibility for everything I do now. I don't blame anyone else. I know I probably worked that out a bit before 25, but when I was younger, I thought this life that I had, woe is me, my life sucks, I hate this. But I've realised that as soon as I got in that driver's seat, I can go wherever I want. And the cool thing is, you're literally in that driver's seat, and your life, bad things are going to happen to everyone. All that stuff's going to happen, but it comes down to what you want and what you're willing to pay. What's the price you're willing to pay for success, whatever that may be in your life.
I love that. Great answer. I've got one for you. Who's someone you've been around that's raised your standards without saying a word?
Oh, there's a few people. Yeah, it's a good one. Probably someone that doesn't realise they've had a huge impact on me was Billy Slater. Huge impact on firstly, how he treats his family. This bloke was the biggest superstar. He's changed the game of the fullback. They married his high school sweetheart. And when I see them together, he loves her so much. They do everything together, the way he is with his kids, but also the way that he does his work. The reason why Billy Slater is so good at everything he does on the football field is because he works harder than anyone else. He communicates. I've never heard someone speak so much on the football field and communicate exactly what he's doing, what everyone else is doing. It's an art. Like, I've never seen someone like him. And we saw him a couple of years ago. Back in the day, they did like Rexona's greatest athlete. They got the best players in every code to have a competition. He won that back to back. Like, he is genuinely, he's a bloke. If he says he's going to do something, he's riding horses at the Melbourne Cup, interviewing jockeys. He's commentating football games. He's the face of Bananas. He's running his own business. He breeds racehorses as well. He does all these different things, but he does it with ease. But he has never changed. We had a game, this would have been a couple of months ago, up at Innisfail. 5,500 people came to this old boys game. We played against Billy Slater. He was still in the grandstand at 2 a.m. in the morning, speaking to the punters, having a beer with them at 2 a.m. in the morning. He didn't go into the league club. It was still a hot day. It was still probably 35 degrees out there. But he was just sitting down, chilling and talking to everyone. And he's someone, I look at him, he could be, he is whatever he wants to be, but he could justify not having time to speak to the punters. He could justify not, he works so hard what he does, but he genuinely cares about the people around him. And we see him as a Queensland coach, how much it means to him to be the coach of Queensland. He's someone that I look at and he inspires me to be better.
What year did you play for Australia, or years?
9, 10, 11, 12.
Was that when it was in Newcastle? Did you play in Newcastle? There was one year-
New Zealand, England, France, and Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Gold Coast was my game.
Yeah, because I have not a run-in with him, but one of the games was there, probably 2009 or 10, around that time. And we were there with the company I was working for, and I went to check out a Wests in Newcastle, and I was so hungover, like so blurry. And I walked down, you're handing the keys back, and I turned to me right, and it was Billy Slater, and he goes, "G'day, man, how you going?" And I was like, "Oh, shit, yeah, good." Like, just literally last night watched you guys kill it. Just such a genuinely nice
genuinely
guy.
good bloke.
Yeah.
And but on the field as well, if you're playing against him, he's ruthless. Like, he's a winner.
Yeah.
He'll find a way, and he would spray you. Like, we'd be mates at Origin time, but when we played against Melbourne, I was scared of him.
Yeah.
Not from tackling him or what he's doing, but mate, he had some good company. He was very good with his words, very, very good. But that's the type of bloke. He's a winner. He's a bloke that but he knows who he is. And I love seeing people, not just because you're a good football player doesn't make you a good bloke.
No.
It comes down to I think, the way you treat the people you love. And I look at him with his wife and I look at him with his kids, and he's a bloke. I'm like, I want to be a dad like him.
Well said.
What's a moment in your life where things could have gone the other way?
Every moment in life, I could have made excuses and blamed others, but I got to see both sides of the spectrum where I was dirt poor, had nothing, could have blamed others, hate my life. I could have gone and been on the dole as well. I could have gone all those different moments. But so ask, what's that question again?
Like, yeah, is there a specific key moment where you think life could have gone the other way? Like for me, you probably touched on that when you really went and started to up the fitness and made your way into the rep side. Like that probably would have been, from the story you've told me, one of the most defining moments.
Yeah, I don't want to go too deep on you, but there's probably a moment that comes to me. I feel like I need to share it with you.
Please.
Is being a father. Like I've got 3 kids on the spectrum. 2 of them are medicated. We're slowly working them off the medication they've been on for decades. But I've got these kids that really struggled. And my oldest boy, he's 20 now. He's got a job in the mines. He's a sparky. And like to see him now do that is the most proudest. Like I'm so proud of my boy where he is now, because as a young boy, when I went to the Bulldogs in 2009, that was probably the toughest time of my life. When my footy career was at the all-time high, I got Dally M Prop of the Year. I'm playing for Queensland. I'm playing for Australia. I'm killing. My footy is killing it. But my personal life was as low as it's ever been. My son was going through a really tough time, and he wasn't diagnosed at this stage. I'm just assuming at the time that I have to do it. My family is my responsibility. I need to fix this. I need to get on top of this. And he'd have meltdowns. And it got to a point where every single day my wife would call me when I'm at football training crying, saying, I'm a terrible mum. I can't do this. This kid hates me. He's beaten me up. It's all. And eventually in 2010, he came to every single training session with me. And I take my hat off to the Bulldogs, because the coaching staff and the people that run the club allowed my son to be in video sessions, run the water at every training session, because he had to be with me, because when he'd have meltdowns, he was uncontrollable. And that's not acting out because he's a naughty kid. When you have a meltdown, you can't control it. And it got to a point, I remember one time we were at Sutherland Shopping Centre, the Westfield down there, Miranda Fair.
Yep.
And my son was just in the shops, and just something little happened, and he had a react, like did something, and I'm like, and I came to a point where I gave him a smack, which I'm a man. My kids do something wrong, I give him a smack. Gave him a smack. He looked me in the eyes like he was playing, like he was having a meltdown, but I didn't know at the time, and I thought, I'm just going to whack it at him, give him a smack, and put the fear of God in him. I gave him the fear of God. And I just saw his eyes just turn. He didn't and just started punching, kicking me in the head, screaming, scratching. And there was the harder I squeezed to hold him tight, there was no way, anything I said to him, I couldn't bring him back. He was having a full on meltdown. And I got to see what my wife got to see all the time. And I remember trying, like, I'm going to put the fear of God in. I'm going to get this out of him. But it just got worse and worse. I remember holding him and squeezing him. He was so, it was ridiculous strong. I walked him to the car, strapped him in his seatbelt. I'm sitting there waiting for my wife to come. I just texted her and said, meet me in the car. And I remember sitting there going, something's wrong. Something's not right. But because my footy career is going so well, I'm thinking to myself, I can't tell anyone about this. This is my problem. I need to fix it. This is up to me. And I thought, everyone thinks my life's perfect. I have to put this perfect persona, and no one needs to, this is my personal life. I keep it to myself. And it got to a point that got really, really bad, where my son was threatening to take his own life at the age of 6. What 6-year-old boy wants to take their own life? And it got to a point where he was we'd have to hide scissors, any sharp object, knives, everything was hidden from him. But that was the worst ever day of my life was in 2010. And it wasn't even that bad a day. I think we went to church that morning, and he was playing up in his room, and me and my wife were downstairs, and with the other kids just downstairs, and we both had a prompting, check on your son. Something's not right. You need to check on your son. And we sort of looked at each other, and we went, and we just looked, we need to get up there sometime. There was no incident. He wasn't mad, nothing. We go up there. He has a plastic bag over his head with electrical tape around him. He's blue, nearly unconscious, not breathing. And that moment, I'm thinking, this is my risk. I need to fix this. And I remember I was helpless. I didn't know what to do. Obviously, we got to him, we got the help, and I realized my footy career was the all-time high, but I realized I needed to get home. I needed help. And the thing is, in life, when times get tough, sometimes we feel that we have to do it on our own. We went back to Queensland around family. We went and got him diagnosed, like we went saw specialists. And back then there was no NDIS. So it cost me between $50,000 and $60,000 a year for 3 or 4 years to get him the help that he needed, which is essentially, there's nothing wrong with him. He's just, literally his brain's wired different. So he had to have different tools to cope with different situations. And we worked through that over the 3 or 4 years. Where he is now makes me so proud. And what I've learned from that, and when you say moment where life can change, is when I've realized I can't do everything myself. There is help out there. You need to swallow your pride sometimes and be honest and get that. And there's a lot of people going through, will probably listen to this, that got kids on the spectrum too, where they feel there's no light at the end of the tunnel. I promise you, I was feeling there was no light at the end of the tunnel. I thought I was going to bury my son. My wife thought she was going to be burying our son at the age of 7 or 8, which is crazy. And we couldn't see how this was going to get better. He's now a kid that's 20 years of age, doing his Sparky apprenticeship in the mine, making good money. He's nearly got his house deposit saved up. He's dating a good girl, probably get married hopefully in the next year or two. Things are looking good. And this was a kid that seriously, we thought we were going to be burying him. I'm seeing where he is now, and that's come from realizing there is light at the tunnel and there is help out there. So people who are going through mental health issues, people who got kids on the spectrum. Now, personally, I've never been in a situation where I felt that low, where I've been in that place. I've had kids that you worry about, and there's plenty of people listening too right now. There is a help out there.
I might have said some comments before about not getting on board with corporate bandwagon and things like that, but there is help. And this is probably the time that we do tell anyone that is listening now that there is help in the form of Lifeline and Beyond Blue. And you've only got to jump on Google and you can call people at any time of the day. And if you feel like there's nobody out there to talk to, there is. And those services do exist. And mate, wow, man.
But as a parent, the biggest thing I've learned is I thought this is my responsibility. As a dad, this is my responsibility. This is my family. I need to fix this. But I didn't have the tools to fix it. I had to swallow my pride and go get that help. I had to give up my footy career at the best club I've ever been. My footy at all-time high. I went to Brisbane where I had a coach that got the sack and then a coach that didn't like me there. So my footy career went downwards after that. But my family went up and it all came, and I don't care about my footy. Was great. It's fantastic for me. Great. I've learned great life lessons. Everything was great.
Hasn't defined you.
But my thing that's most important to me is my family are alive, they're healthy, and they're striving to be the best they can be because they've got the tools around them. Not just mum and dad's helping them, other people around that are there to help. And the good thing is, if you're listening right now and maybe you don't have parents there to help, but there are people around that do love you and do want to help you. So reach out to them.
Really well said.
Man, honestly, there's not too much more I want to follow up with after that. I really appreciate you sharing that story with us. And I don't know your son. A massive shout out to your son, and also Sparky's, man. I'm not good at maths. Very smart. Obviously, he's much smarter than us if he's out there doing that, man. And I'm really blown away.
The cool thing is there's, especially being a parent, you just want the best for your kids. And when you see, and you can see that, I genuinely didn't think there was light at the end of the tunnel. I thought my son will either end up dead or in prison. Because with the meltdowns and just society, we'd get a call every single day from school, pretty much. And eventually they said, he can't come here anymore. And you're thinking, what more? I need help, And the good thing is, there is light at the tunnel. Yep. Never give up on them. Keep pushing through. And that's probably the answer to that question that you asked me.
Well, man,
that's a moment in my life where I had to swallow my own pride. And
you've steamrolled the rest of the questions because you've answered them all.
With absolute vulnerability and authenticity there too, Ben. I really appreciate that, mate.
I do too, man.
Well, it's life. And realistically, anyone that's listening to this, you're probably going through something similar to me in some extent of whatever it may be. But the good thing is there's opportunities. I'm not upset. I love my life. And the thing that I love my life so much and what I have is just incredible people around me who love me and I love that. But the bad things of what galvanized us close together can either break families up or it can galvanise you together. And I look at the good, the bad, everything in between has made the journey and everything so great along the way. So I just try and be honest and real, and I just can't believe I even have this opportunity to be on this podcast and share these stories with people, because it happens to all of us.
Man, we exist to share the growth stories of prominent heavy industry businesses and leaders and how people got there. And like, your story is so unique for the highs and lows that you've gone through along the way. And I genuinely appreciate you coming in here.
So I'm not that bad of a bloke, am I?
No, you're not, man. And you know what? And I'm going to end the episode.
Even ask me, I'll tell you.
And I'm going to end the episode like this. I'm not religious now, but I went through the Catholic school system. I've done my communion. I've done the reconciliation. Ben Hannant, may the Lord be with you.
It feels like I'm on Star Wars. Oh, the Lord, it's like the Force. I'll take whatever you give it.
Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Oh, that's a strong
It's the
handshake.
hand. Thank you.